Hey everyone! I am beyond thrilled to share this amazing milestone with you all. 1,000 subscribers. This journey wouldn't have been possible without your love, support, and encouragement. Each like, comment, and share has brought us closer to this moment. Thank you for being such an incredible part of this family and helping Manhwa Mantra grow. This is just the beginning of our adventure together. Let's keep building, exploring, and enjoying more amazing stories. Here's to many more milestones ahead. Cheers, and thank you so much. And guys, I need your feedback too. Let me know which voice you like better, the old one or this new one. Your opinions really matter, and I want to make sure you're enjoying the content as much as possible. So don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments below. In the previous chapter, we saw Zhuo Fan dominate a fierce clash against Wen Tao, overpowering his heaven-breaking sword with the ghostly dragon claw. Though Zhuo Fan proved his strength, Wen Tao refused to back down, revealing that the real battle was just beginning as the remaining Sword God Sect disciples prepared to join the fight. Let's begin the chapter. Sword God Sect was finally showing its true colors. After holding back for so long, they were now unleashing everything they had. Wu Qingqiu, standing amidst the tense atmosphere, chuckled with anticipation. Sword God Sect has finally decided to put all their cards on the table. Against one man, no less. This is going to be something worth watching. Yanmo, standing beside him, nodded thoughtfully. Ever since the Middle Three Sects stage, Sword God Sect has been acting mysterious. It always felt like they were hiding a trump card. Perhaps this is it, their ultimate weapon. But to think they'd be forced to reveal it against someone they probably underestimated at the start. Wu Qingqiu agreed silently. The tension in the air was palpable as Sword God Sect's 9 disciples stepped forward in unison, joining their leader, Wen Tao. Each of their steps was heavy with resolve, their eyes burning with a thirst for battle. These weren't disciples cowering at the thought of facing Zhuo Fan. These were warriors who had seen his strength and yet stood tall, ready to risk everything. Zhuo Fan, on the other hand, observed them with a calm yet calculating gaze. Their determination didn't escape his notice, and somewhere within him, he felt a shred of admiration. Wen Tao's reputation as the gentle sword, he thought, wasn't just his alone. It was shared by these 9 individuals standing beside him. Together, they made his title whole. Breaking the silence, Xi Tianshang stepped forward, his tone solemn. Zhuo Fan, you're a body cultivator with incredible resilience. Not many can survive your strength. But this time, we'll attack your weak spot. Be ready. Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow at the challenge and responded with a faint smile. Bring it on. Let's see what you've got. From behind, Wen Tao shook his head and grinned. Z, don't take it lightly. Did you see what happened to me? I talked too much, gave away my secrets, and got defeated. Learn from my mistakes. The light-hearted jab seemed to lift the tension slightly, but Xi Tianshang, always straightforward, didn't hold back. Wen, talking or not, you'd have lost anyway. Face it, Wen Tao's smile faltered. A loss is a loss, but don't rub it in. He glanced at Zhuo Fan, who was watching the exchange with a bemused expression. The hint of sarcasm in Zhuo Fan's gaze didn't go unnoticed. You sure know how to kick a man when he's down, Wen Tao grumbled. Zhuo Fan shrugged with a teasing grin. Well, you make it too easy. Wen Tao let out an exaggerated sigh and turned away, feigning annoyance. Xi Tianshang, however, refocused the group. This isn't about personal grudges or honor anymore. It's about the fight in front of us. Let's focus. Well said, Wen Tao nodded, his eyes lighting up. Brother Zhuo, be ready. This won't be as easy as last time. We'll see about that, Zhuo Fan replied coolly. But his eyes betrayed a flicker of caution. He could sense that what was coming would be extraordinary. As if to confirm his thoughts, the disciples of Sword God Sect moved in perfect synchrony. Their hands formed intricate signs, and suddenly, 10 swords soared into the sky, radiating power. The swords shimmered with a mysterious energy, causing ripples in the air around them. Zhuo Fan's eyes narrowed, his mind racing. 10 swords? This isn't just an ordinary attack. The spectators, too, were stunned. Someone in the crowd gasped, "They've released their sword souls!" Yanmo, unable to hide his shock, muttered, "What are they planning? Releasing one's soul in battle is risky enough. But all 10 of them at once?" Wu Qingqiu's brows furrowed. The soul is the essence of a cultivator's spirit. To bring it out means they're ready to fight to the death. Are they really willing to take such a gamble against Zhuo Fan? From the sidelines, Ye Lin watched intently. "It's reckless," he murmured. "But I suppose they have no choice. Zhuo Fan is no ordinary opponent." Even the usually composed, exalted double dragons couldn't hide their astonishment. Bai Mei's voice carried a rare note of respect. 10 souls working in harmony. This is no ordinary feat. Sword God sect has truly outdone itself. He Ran nodded in agreement. Their sword souls are unique. Perhaps only disciples of the Sword God sect could achieve such a harmony, and at the center of it all is Wen Tao, the gentle sword. His presence binds them together. As the swords in the sky began to merge, their glow intensified. The sheer force of their combined energy caused tremors in the surrounding space. The spectators could barely breathe as the dazzling light faded, leaving behind a single sword. But this wasn't just any sword. It exuded an overwhelming aura, its mere presence shaking the heavens. "That's a soul harmony," Bai Mei murmured in awe. "To fuse 10 souls into one, it's beyond rare. Even among the most powerful cultivators, this is nearly impossible." Wu Qingqiu could only shake his head in disbelief. This level of power, Zhuo Fan is in real danger. Even his monstrous body might not withstand this. On the battlefield, Xi Tiansheng's voice rang out, firm yet sincere. "Zhuo Fan, listen. If you can't block this dodge, we won't strike again, but it will mean your defeat. Don't risk your life over pride." Zhuo Fan smirked but didn't respond immediately. "Do they think I'm the reckless one here?" he thought. "They've brought their very souls to the battlefield, and they're warning me." Wen Tao, noticing his skepticism, added, "Brother Zhuo, this isn't a joke. This attack will strike your weak point. Be careful." As their warning hung in the air, the disciples of Sword God sect shouted in unison. The single sword in the sky pulsed with unimaginable power, its every movement creating ripples in space. The spectators could only watch in stunned silence. Even the strongest among them knew this was no ordinary attack. It wasn't just about power, it was a testament to unity, resolve, and the strength of the Sword God sect. Zhuo Fan's expression remained unreadable, but his mind was sharp and alert. This will be a true test of strength. Let's see if your harmony can withstand my chaos. The battlefield fell silent, the tension building to a breaking point as the two forces prepared to clash. The wind howled sharply, carrying with it a piercing intensity. 10 fused sword souls, enormous and imposing as hills, loomed above Zhuo Fan, pressing down with an almost unbearable weight. The sheer force they radiated caused the earth to quake beneath him. Rocks fractured, splitting apart, while dust and fragments floated upward, defying gravity. Not because the laws of physics had changed, but because the ground was yielding to the overwhelming presence of the sword souls. It was as though their combined power outweighed the very planet. Fiend Yang's breath hitched in his throat, his expression a mask of disbelief. The harmony of 10 sword souls together created a force that surpassed anything they had ever witnessed. The sheer magnitude of this power demanded attention. What level of strength could summon such an earth-shattering reaction? This oppressive energy now bore down on Zhuo Fan, threatening to crush him entirely. Yet he stood unshaken, his calm demeanor as steadfast as ever. Fiend Yang was sweating profusely, anxiety etched into his features. And it wasn't just the demon scheming sect's venerables who were on edge. Everyone present, even the bystanders and the exalted, wore grim expressions, their tension palpable. The attack wasn't a mere show of strength. It was a true, united assault, a combination of power no one in the Western lands could withstand head-on. Not even the superior 3 sects had individuals capable of enduring such an onslaught. Yet, if Zhuo Fan could withstand this, if he could emerge unscathed, he wouldn't just be a survivor. he would become a living legend. He'd be seen as a contender for the title of the greatest in the Western lands, a rival even to Dan King Shen himself. The two exalted elders watched intently, their gazes locked on Zhuo Fan, their brows deeply furrowed. "Brother Zhuo, are you sure you're not going to dodge?" Wen Tao's voice broke the tense silence, his tone carrying both respect and concern. He couldn't understand why Zhuo Fan refused to evade. The incoming attack was monstrous, its outcome seemingly inevitable. Zhuo Fan responded with a faint smile, shaking his head. "If I move, wouldn't that be tantamount to admitting defeat? Brother Wen, you've chosen to press forward despite knowing the result. Wouldn't it make me a coward to do otherwise?" Wen Tao's eyes flashed with admiration. "A true warrior, I see. No matter the outcome, I will remember this fight, and I will remember you." With a sudden shout, Wen Tao shifted his hand into a new gesture, and the massive sword soul surged toward Zhuo Fan with unstoppable momentum. The pressure around them intensified tenfold in an instant. If it had felt like a heavy weight before, it now struck like a giant hammer, threatening to pulverize everything in its path. Even Zhuo Fan, who had stood undeterred until now, felt his breath falter momentarily under its immense force. So strong, he thought, his mind racing. He had anticipated the strength of this attack, but facing it head-on was an entirely different matter. Finally, he moved, his hands forming intricate signs. Just as the sword soul was about to crash into him, a thunderous draconic roar erupted, shaking the heavens and earth alike. A dazzling prismatic light engulfed the surroundings, causing the massive sword soul to tremble and come to a halt mid-air. The crowd gasped in shock, their eyes widening in disbelief. The 10 disciples of the Sword God sect stared, their expressions frozen in astonishment. Their invincible sword soul, a power they believed nothing could rival, was now being held back, trapped in a colossal dragon claw, radiating with prismatic light. Behind the claw emerged a titanic dragon, its shimmering scales reflecting every hue of the rainbow. The creature coiled protectively around Zhuo Fan, its mere presence exuding an aura of dominance that left the onlookers quaking. Its piercing eyes, cold and unyielding, swept over the crowd, reducing them to trembling ants in its gaze. "That's..." Wu Qingqiu's voice cracked as he exclaimed. Yan Mo, standing nearby, was equally shaken. Now it makes sense. Last time, when he revealed only a fraction of his soul, it was already so powerful. This must be the legendary Heaven Dragon soul. In all the Western lands, only the 2 exalted double dragons have ever formed such a soul. His eyes darted toward the exalted elders, who had risen from their seats, their composure shattered. The Heaven Dragon soul wasn't merely a testament to Zhuo Fan's strength. It was a declaration of his unparalleled genius. For a cultivator at the Radiant stage to achieve this was unheard of, something even Dan King Shen hadn't accomplished in his prime. The 2 exalted exchanged a look, their expressions heavy with both awe and realization. The Western lands had given birth to another prodigious figure, one destined to shake the very foundations of their world. Ye Lin, observing from afar, broke into laughter. "So, you've formed the Heaven Dragon soul as well. Excellent. My destined rival wouldn't be complete without it. Wait, could it be that you're the one who stole the dragon power from the dragon tomb?" "Ha ha ha, now that's interesting." Wu Xingqiu's gaze snapped toward him. "Junior brother, what do you mean by dragon tomb?" "Oh, nothing much," Ye Lin replied with a sly grin. "I'm just saying this guy is worthy of being my adversary, simply for his courage. Ha ha ha." Wu Qingqiu frowned, his doubts deepening. "Junior brother, I know you're extraordinary, but if he has the Heaven Dragon soul, does that mean you possess something equally powerful?" Ye Lin chuckled mysteriously. "That's a secret. You'll find out soon enough." Meanwhile, the audience erupted into excited murmurs. The Heaven Dragon soul, a phenomenon previously seen only in the exalted elders, was now displayed by an ordinary disciple. The sheer impossibility of it left them breathless. The disciples of mystical Heaven sect chattered excitedly, their voices filled with admiration. The venerables of the demon scheming sect were overcome with emotion. some even tearing up. With a genius like him in our sect, we might even surpass the Double Dragon Manor one day, one of them exclaimed, his voice trembling with hope. Fiend Yang wiped his face, half laughing, half crying. This brat! Couldn't he have told us earlier? I almost had a heart attack from all the suspense. But while Jofan's sect rejoiced, the superior three sects were plunged into despair. His display of the Heaven Dragon's soul was a nightmare for them, an insurmountable obstacle. The 10 Sword God sect disciples, in particular, were on the verge of breaking down, their faces pale with fear. Wen Tao gritted his teeth, glaring at Zhuofan. Seriously? You call this bravery? With the Heaven Dragon soul, there's nothing you can't do. And yet, you stood there pretending to be a martyr, making us believe we had a chance. Zhuofan shrugged, his expression calm. I never said I wouldn't use it. If you're upset, feel free to concede. Wen Tao's eyes burned with defiance. Concede? Never. As long as we can fight, we'll see this through to the end. He signaled his comrades, and the 10 disciples formed new hand seals. The combined sword soul screeched violently, its edges scraping against the dragon claw as it struggled to break free. The sheer force of their determination pushed it closer to Zhuofan. Zhuofan frowned, his hands forming signs once more. The dragon claw tightened, increasing its grip by a third. Blood spurted from the mouths of the 10 disciples, yet they didn't falter. Their sword soul pressed on, inching closer, as the dragon claw began to waver under the relentless assault. Wen Tao, do you truly intend to die for this? Zhuofan called out, his voice tinged with warning. At this rate, either your sword soul will destroy me, or my dragon claw will shatter your souls. For you, the cost is far greater. Wen Tao spat blood, his eyes blazing with resolve. The path of the sword demands courage, even in the face of death. Retreating now would be a disgrace worse than death. His comrades echoed his sentiment, their voices united in a resounding cry. Never turning back, never turning back.